G'day guys, this video is a response to KiraTV, who made a video not long ago where he reads this Bloomberg article titled "Blockchain in Gaming is all the rage for no good reason," written by Jason Schreier. Kira basically reads the article and gives his own thoughts throughout and asks for explanations for various things. So here we are. I'll skip around to the key points that I made and give my thoughts.
So I've been covering crypto in gaming, NFTs in gaming, and the metaverse for a few months now, and I've been trying to go into it with an open mind and look at the biggest projects and look at the upcoming projects and play them if there is anything playable, which rarely is the case, and just give my take on what's going on, why it's so big, and the potential future that is there, because I'm not against this idea so long as the idea is actually good and has some actual tangible value to it. And in my coverage, most projects that have like billions and billions of dollars of market cap, meaning people are valuing these projects in that price range, don't really have any substance, and they're never by AAA game developers. They're not by people who you would have some kind of trust that they're going to be able to deliver on something that moves the genre forward, right? The genre of gaming, and not the genre of cryptocurrency and speculating on gaming. And it seems like a lot of the projects are just built on FOMO, fear of missing out, and hype for making money and not about the game, which is always my position. Game first, monetization, cryptocurrency, etc., play to earn, whatever it's going to be, very distantly second. And unfortunately, most of the projects are just speculate on making money first, and most of the people that are involved in it don't care whether the game's even going to come out or be good.
Game first, monetization second. The thing is, money always comes first. You won't get a traditional game made without money. That money is supplied to developers by people who want to make more money. And here you are not understanding that it's the same thing. People like to invest their money into these blockchain projects, just like the people who invest in traditional game developer businesses. That's the key innovation with regards to blockchain. Funding. Remember that. Everything else is secondary, even in the traditional game world.
And the games that do have some form of gameplay at the moment are just not that impressive. They feel like games from your browser from 15 years ago, and that is going to change, in my opinion.
I'm going to point out something shocking to you right now. CandyCrush made well over $1 billion last year, whereas the Grand Theft Auto franchise made somewhere around $800 million. Okay? This thing you would call unimpressive is making more money than one of the most impressive game franchises of all time, Grand Theft Auto.
At the moment, it seems like everyone's running on a 56k modem, but we're over here in the AAA gaming industry playing on fiber.
Yes, where you are in the AAA games world, I'm assuming somewhere in the UK. Most of the population of the world can't afford cutting-edge equipment to run games. They can't play games that impress you, but they can still have fun playing fun games that require less powerful hardware and internet. So it's basically a feature that the games are simple and accessible, not a bug.
And in that coverage, I'm going to now go over an article by Jason Schreier, which is called "Blockchain in Gaming is all the rage for no good reason." So let's see where we agree and what his stance is on it as somebody who covers gaming in depth as a journalist. So Investorbait.
Investorbait. Sounds like something you'd do when you're in a boardroom or something. I'm investigating right now. Ba-bum-ch.
So the biggest current thing is blockchain. It's attracted a mind-boggling amount of hype and money for no clear reason, because many of the concepts that crypto evangelists are pitching have already been possible in some games for years, of course.
This is a straw man argument, I think. What crypto gaming is doing has never been done before, and that's pretty obvious. Don't take the weakest argument from some random in the space, please. Give me another example of something that has achieved what Axie Infinity has. Go. I'll skip to the end. It hasn't been done before, and you and the author of this article are severely uninformed.
Blockchain, a decentralized database that allows users to prove their ownership of virtual data, is being used in finance, art, and many other industries. It is yet to lead to much success in the video game world, but not for lack of trying.
What are you talking about? What does a success look like to you people? Growing community, making money, creating positivity, doing things that have never been done before? Hearing you say this is bizarre to me.
So I think he obviously has a point here. I think a lot of what the reason is implied in the speculation aspect of it. People are putting money into these things because they believe in the future of the products and not what they currently are. Most people are pretty short-sighted with stuff like this. They just want to make money from it. But a lot of people that are in the space for the good of it, at least from the ones I've been speaking to, people who have been in crypto for a long time and see crypto gaming being a big thing, they're interested in the future of when it catches up.
Yes, that's a good reason why people invest in things, because of what they can become. For example, Tesla started making cars, but wasn't earning much money. However, it was doing things that had never been done before. People believe in the future of Tesla, so they invest in it.
And what it can do there, and that's why they're invested in the space and not what it currently is, which does seem like there is no reason, because you are going back like 10-15 years with what these games have compared to what you have already in mainstream gaming and even in indie games, in my opinion.
Okay, making games is not new. It's been done before. We know where we stand with that. It's not as difficult as you think it is. In your mind, making a video game is akin to making a magical ring in the depths of Mount Doom. One could argue that the biggest difficulty around making games comes from the monetary aspect. Devs make shit games because of money. They release games too early because of money. They fail at making what the players want because of money. And I mean money from all angles: the budget, the earnings, the reward to shareholders, etc.
Regardless of whether you want to accept it, it is coming, and it seems at this point you're struggling against the tide, because once all the big money starts following it, you're not going to have that much of a choice other than indie gaming and the companies that say no to it.
It's interesting you bring up indie gaming as something that can fight against crypto, when in my mind indie gaming becomes so much more powerful when combined with crypto. Because what's stopping those indie devs from using blockchain the right way?
And then obviously, as consumers, just as a side point, as consumers, if we disagree with that direction, we stop paying and then start putting money into indie gaming, and then the indie game companies get bigger and they take over from what the EA and the Ubisoft used to be, and that's how we fight back against this. If you are a consumer that is concerned about this, stop buying these companies' product. That's your only way of fighting back, is to vote with your wallet, basically.
That's your only way of fighting back. Vote with your wallet. Fair enough. I've got some homework for you, Kira. Research DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. They let users actually vote, not just with your wallet, but with an actual vote to make decisions about potentially any and every aspect of the game. It's very cool.
NFT enthusiasts theorize about a world in which players can buy unique items, say outfits or weapons, and then carry those items from game to game among different publishers using the blockchain to prove their ownership. I've heard this a lot, and I think this is the point that makes the least sense. Because then you're assuming that all the developers are going to play nice and they're all going to have these things and enable it. And I don't believe it's going to be true. I don't believe that's something that is a positive for now, at least with current landscapes. But maybe I'm being short-sighted on this one. Maybe somebody could explain this better to me and how this would function. But I don't get this point specifically.
Okay, this is a very new concept. There's a bunch of angles to attack this from, and I'm going to do my best to explain how it could possibly unfold. Game items can be limited. Let's say there are 10,000. Let's call them 10,000 apples. A new game coming up can create an item, let's call it a sword, and make it claimable by owners of the NFT apple from the other game. This is a simple way to entice those users into the new game. It doesn't have to be as friendly as you think. That is just one of the many possible ways it could work. Another reason why they might do it is because the community wants it. A lot of these crypto gaming projects are becoming DAOs, possibly owned by the player base. But also, game companies and IP owners make deals with rival businesses all the time. It's not very strange. And don't say, oh, that's not what people say. They say all the items will be transferable to other games, and not in different forms, but the exact same thing. Yes, people say different things and have different predictions. It's called an imagination.
Or positive. So for a minute, let me just go over what I could foresee as a use case for NFTs. So look at Steam. Look at Steam's marketplace. Steam's marketplace obviously allows for you to buy skins from other players on the marketplace, or to buy loot boxes within their games and then unpack those and get skins and then trade them with other players via Steam trade system or via the marketplace. But when you sell those, Steam takes a cut and Steam gives you a digital token that represents value in your currency. This is not the actual currency because it's not real world money. You can't take that out. So it is basically, it could be called Steam dollars, but they instead call it your currency, even though it is basically like store credit. It represents a value, and then you can use that to buy games on the platform or use in the marketplace to buy other things, or for instance go onto a game that is integrated with Steam's system and buy things using your wallet. So you can buy like keys or whatever from Valve's games and then open boxes with your Steam wallet currency. So I'm trying to word this the most concise way possible, but imagine Steam's marketplace then, but with NFTs and the freedom that that gives you. At the moment, you can trade Steam marketplace goods off of Steam. You can sell them to other people doing a personal trade, me to you, and then you give me money on PayPal or whatever, which means Steam's losing out on a bunch of transaction fees. And this third-party market is thriving. It's probably hundreds of millions, billions of dollars per year transactional fees that Valve are not getting. Now, if they put this on blockchain and allowed for that, they would be able to track all the transactions and take that fee.
Yes, I think you're getting the right idea here. I just want to point out that skins and those things Valve would be selling are licenses. There's a big difference between license and ownership.
And then another example would be, just imagine Magic the Gathering, the card game in real life, but have that as a game on PC using blockchain, and then you own the cards that you have, and when you stop playing you can just sell them to other people. Or if you get, if you unpack a really rare card, you can sell it and make a profit from playing the game. And I think those are two examples where they could work in gaming and they would be more consumer friendly than what we already have, in my opinion. Will there be negatives to them and drawbacks? Maybe, most likely, that's how most things in life work. But I do believe if you just take those models and then apply them to a game and then just look at that under the microscope and don't think of like the whole other things that could happen that aren't currently proven, those are two use cases that immediately already work, and they would be better for consumers. Would companies want to implement them? Maybe not.
Magic the Gathering. Okay, so you get it, but I think you're a bit confused. Axie Infinity is very similar to Magic the Gathering. It's a hell of a lot more than Magic the Gathering, in my opinion, and I'm not talking about dollar values. I'm talking about value proposition. I'll try to release a video on my thoughts on Axie Infinity soonish. Also, I'm not a legal expert by any means, but I don't think all companies can use NFTs to give true ownership. Copyright laws, trademark laws, and ownership rights laws could produce unwanted litigation by owners. Because the only way for businesses like that to give ownership of digital items is to license them. If it's not a license, but true ownership stated by the terms of use, I'm sure that opens up a can of worms that would make a room full of high-powered lawyers object, or whatever it is they do.
As we develop this, it'll be part of an ongoing conversation, that's for sure, he said. You hear that often from executives preaching blockchain. It's a solution to a problem that doesn't exist, a tool for something that doesn't need to be fixed. A cynic, hello, might suggest that most of these game publishers are cheerleading blockchain because they're afraid that analysts and shareholders will perceive them as plodding dinosaurs if they don't. That's a good point. That is a very good point.
A solution to a problem that doesn't exist is a nonsense statement. You must know that. Surely. The author is implying that there is not a single problem in the video game developer industry, not a single innovation to be made, not a possible way that giving ownership of something over to users could improve anything at all. I don't want to bombard you with loads of information and ideas here. I think we need to take a step back. Your head might explode from realization. Here's one of my favorite ideas. So I'm going to say this. It allows for the user or player of the game to gain true ownership over game assets just by playing the game, effectively giving ownership to the game itself. So there's a reason why games companies might be a bit apprehensive about moving forward, because of the shareholders. The games companies need to do what the shareholders want, Crypto play-to-earn games need to do what the users want. An oversimplification? Yes. But please try to understand and even steelman this concept in your mind before calling it shit. It's easy to call things shit, especially when you're lazy and don't want to do any research.
The mechanics of Axie Infinity are complicated, but in short, the game promises that players can buy unique monsters, grow them, and sell them to other players for a profit. So yeah, that's the idea of Axie Infinity, and I'm not saying it doesn't work, but there have been studies posted recently based on data from Axie Infinity from people within the blockchain community that show that Axie Infinity over time, despite becoming more popular and valued vastly higher than before, is actually worse for play to earn, which means you're going to be earning less money despite everything costing more, which means it's more cost prohibitive to get into the game and you make less money playing the game. So the actual core concept of it is kind of failing unless they do something massive at the moment.
Okay, this point that the writer or you are trying to make is fundamentally flawed. Imagine releasing an alpha demo and then saying, geez, they're going to have to make some big changes to this thing. It's got some real problems, and I finished it in 20 minutes. And don't say that's not what Axie is doing. They're selling things before the game is finished, blah, blah, blah. So don't play it. And then when the other ecosystem game features come out, join then. Nobody's forcing users or giving disingenuous information.
So the article continues, the catch, you have to pay to even get started right now, around $1,500. Many players called scholars rely on richer players to front their entry fees in exchange for a large cut of potential profits. But again, the play to earn aspect of it is waning at the moment.
Oh man, it's waning, guys. If you look at the dictionary for waning, it shows these charts.
I think it's actually, for now, other than the very, very top few percent of MMR players, because your earnings are based on how good you are at the game and your MMR, they're earning less money on average per day than minimum wage in countries like the Philippines, which is of course one of the use cases and selling points of Axie Infinity was that people in these countries like the Philippines, where the paid wages are quite low, could make a better living playing Axie Infinity than they could working a job, which is really cool. But that is, again, that's going down.
Oh yes, in the crypto community it's commonly said that a play-to-earn game can only succeed if players are able to earn more than minimum wage in the Philippines. I think it was Satoshi Nakamoto himself who said that. Honestly, it's just such a stupid argument. Satoshi, you're not that bloody smart. It's not even accurate. It only requires playing a few hours a day. And that functionality was not made by the devs. It was made by the community. The community spearheaded it, the community wanted it, and so the devs made it possible for them.
As long as there are more buyers than sellers, the play-to-earn train can keep rolling. But what happens when new players stop coming in? Are people going to wind up with a computer full of unsold cartoon monsters to put in the garage next to their knives and beauty kits? In gaming right now, blockchain is confusing and short-sighted, and that's even before you consider the potentially devastating environmental impacts or the costs of each transaction.
Oh, what? I'm standing up now. I can't believe you went there. You think digital items are worse for the environment than physical items? Go ahead and watch this ABC special to learn where all those t-shirts you probably sell to your Patreon subscribers end up. Spoiler alert, a lot of them end up in the ocean. Or in the local river where this fish just died because they didn't know it's not food. Moving on before I get a crypto nerd aneurysm.
Perhaps gaming executives are just telling investors what they want to hear, but unlike most of the other gaming fads we've seen come and go, this one could really hurt people. Absolutely true.
This one could really hurt people. Okay, if you mean by the nature of putting money into speculative assets where they may lose 100% of their value, I completely agree. It's a constant reminder in the space that investing in NFTs or crypto could lose you some or all of your money. Which is actually why I like you, Kira, because you help people avoid scams. I'm sure you must have saved at least a few people from losing their money by educating them on some things.
So yeah, as usual for Jason Schreier's work, a very well written article, and it's hard to disagree with anything that was said in here. There is no real obvious use case yet that has been fulfilled, especially when you consider the one use case that people have been saying, the play to earn idea for Axie Infinity, is, and I will put that data on screen, it's just not going well, and this will continue unless something drastic can be done. And are they going to be able to do it?
Okay, I'm going to drop a gem for you here. I'll do my best to explain this, but I'm not some professional copywriter, so try to stay with me. Yeah. Magic the Gathering makes money by selling cards to players. So they need to create newer and more powerful cards every year, which actually takes the fun out of the game because if you don't buy expensive cards, you don't stand a chance. I'm not so familiar with Magic the Gathering anymore. It might be called power creep or something. This stems from a revenue generating problem. They need to make new cards to sell to get income. Axie Infinity doesn't make cards. They don't even decide which cards get created. They have a different revenue generating model where they earn marketplace fees. The devs do have a lot of control. I'm not saying it's a decentralized masterpiece, but they are the first to do it, so you need to start somewhere. And the foundations are being built very slowly and carefully, sometimes with trial and error, which could enable something resembling a masterpiece of decentralized ownership. Okay, that's pretty much it for this response. I'm so confident in this space that if this time next year your YouTube channel is not singing the praises of NFT gaming, I will... You know what? Never mind. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Maybe I got something wrong, or tell me why you agree or disagree with my comments. And I'll catch you in the next one.